Hello everyone, it's my pleasure having you once again on this segment on newspaper review here on First Next News Port Harcourt. I am Kings Ojalo. This is the time where I will be giving you all newspaper headlines on all newspaper platforms here in Nigeria. Sit back, relax while I take you through. First on our newspaper, on the Matrix newspaper, we have twist as Dangote reveals NMDPRA CEO son's school cost, orders intricate details. We still have on the Matrix newspaper, FAAC, federal government state LG's shares 1.928 trillion naira in November. Total gross revenue down by 591 billion naira, allocation declines by 166 billion naira. You find that in page 3 of the Matrix newspaper. Still ahead, we have Rivers emergency rule, reactions trial Supreme Court ruling. Now we also have on the Matrix newspaper, a leader with discipline. Tinubu hailed late ex-president Buhari at book launch. Now let's move on to the next newspaper, which is the Daily Trust, boldly written on the Daily Trust. Dangote's trouble. You don't use imports to checkmate domestic potentials, says Dangote. Now we are looking at still the Daily Trust at 14.45%. Inflation drops below Tinubu's target. We have gunmen adopt 18 travelers, 11 rescued. Then we also have how 70-year-old man was killed in Kano. Now still on that newspaper platform, we have Supreme Court backs Tinubu on Rivers emergency rule. Now we also have Buhari left behind reputation of integrity, says president. Now we also have alleged persecution. EFCC accused position of seeking immunity. Okay, we have alleged persecution. EFCC accuses opposition of seeking immunity. Now let's move on to the next newspaper, which is Nigeria Tribune. Boldly written on the Nigeria Tribune, we have Nigerians' inflation drops to 14.45%. You find that in page 6 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. We also have police to resume tinted glass permit enforcement in January 2nd. That is on the 2nd of January. You find that in page 7 of the Nigeria Tribune. We also have why Buhari had no favored successor, Bichi, that is the DG of DSS. You find that in page 2 of the Nigeria Tribune. Now, boldly written on the Nigeria Tribune, we have concerns among businesses over new tax regime. You find that in page 5 and 6 of the Nigeria Tribune. Now, we have Buhari legacy endured, coming from the President Tinubu. Now, we also have on that same newspaper platform, zebra worshippers fared adopted by bandits in Kogi Church. We find that in page 27 of that newspaper platform. We also have 2026 budgets. Senators demands more answered. You find that in page 25 of that newspaper platform. We also have Supreme Court affirms president power to declare emergency rule. Now let's move to the next newspaper, which is This Day newspaper. Boldly written on This Day newspaper, federal government charts new path to tackle rising debt, mobilizes mass saving. Now, also on that newspaper, Tinubu, we are mobilizing all military assets against threats. Okay, let's move on to our next newspaper platform, which is The Nation newspaper. Boldly written on The Nation newspaper, boost for disposable income as inflation drops to 14.45%. Still on The Nation newspaper, Supreme Court, President has power to emergency order. Yes, that is, he can suspend governors. So we also have on that same newspaper, Vera bandit footage result of inter-agency tension. That is coming from police to resume enforcement of tinted glass permits. Okay, boldly written, Buhari did not name successor to save life. Keep APC intact. That is, the ex-president biography reviews why he did not overrule Osibanjo. Now moving to the Daily Monitor. Boldly written on the Daily Monitor. Tinubu, we are mobilizing all military assets to protect Nigeria and crush insecurity threats. Now we also have on that newspaper platform. Rescue yourself, you can't probe me, Malamate's EFCC chairman. Now moving ahead to the next newspaper platform, which is the Vanguard newspaper. Now, this year-end festivities push inflation to 4-month high. You find that in page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, on the top of the Vanguard newspaper, terrorism sponsor, ex-governor Bafarawa carpets Bello Tunji. That is in page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, inter-agency rivalry to blame for bandit allegation. Now, we also have on that same newspaper platform, emergency rule, president can suspend elected officials, Supreme Court orders. That is in page 9 of that newspaper platform. Now moving ahead to the Platform Times, boldly written on the Platform Times, president can suspend governor imposed emergency rule, Supreme Court orders. Now we also have Tinubu says order coalition with Buhari ended, PDP 16-year rule. Moving ahead to our next newspaper platform, that is the Daily Independence. Boldly written on the Daily Independence, Supreme Court rules, president can declare emergency rule, suspended elected officials. Now we have airline justify sky high fares amid public backlash. So on page 7 on that newspaper platform as well, I did not say South should produce president in 2027. That is coming from Aerofire. That is all we have on this segment on Newspaper Review. I am Kings Ojalo. Many thanks for being with us. Is a bye for now.